Hey everyone. In one of my classes this semester, I was trying to get the students to break free of thinking about writing music in song forms. Things like A, A prime, stuff that's standard, verse, chorus, verse, bridge, just to think about music in a different way. One of the examples that I put forth for them was in another discipline. I took the example of artists, people like Picasso, and how they would go around and collect disparate and unrelated objects in their travels, bring them back to their art studio, and assemble them into a cogent piece of art that was beautiful, told a story, was interesting. To facilitate this in the music realm, I had them spend a week or two going around with their phones and capturing audio events, anything that piqued their interest. And then they all have recording kits in their apartments, so they would record certain things that they could find around the places that they were living. Maybe they would clang two glasses together. There would be a sound out in the street that they could record. Anything, just gathering all sorts of disparate, unrelated audio events. Then they would import those events inside of Pro Tools, since that's what we're using, and then manipulate and rework those audio events, edit them down into usable pieces of audio that you could then assemble and construct a piece of music with. So I'm showing them in this video today, it's an excerpt from a class, how I would go about doing that in one example. And I combine some of these audio files that I've collected over the years with some original sampler instruments that I created, as well as just the basic stock meat and potatoes plugins that come with Pro Tools that would be what you would find in any DAW. And then I go through the process of writing a piece of music. Hopefully you'll find this helpful. I think it's really an interesting way to go about composing music. And if you are a media composer, I think it's really helpful because sometimes visuals and making music work with visuals doesn't really fit neatly into predetermined song structures. Anyway, if you like this video, give a thumbs up. For more content, please subscribe, and to be notified, ring that bell. If you'd like to further support the channel, there is a link down in the description box below where you can buy me a cup of coffee. Please leave any comments or questions. I'd like to know what you think about assemblage as a musical study or a technique for creating a composition. Anyway, I've been Pete Calandra. Thanks so much for watching, and let's get right into it. This is the last class of the semester, so what I thought I'd do today would be to work on a track kind of using what we've learned this semester and what you have learned in previous semesters in terms of the assemblage and automation and processing sounds, stuff like that. So I have a Pro Tools session set up here. And let me just go through what I've got. So I have a couple of sampler instruments I made. And the first one is made in Contact. And it's an ambient prayer bell. And what that is I went to we did a cross-country road trip for 2 months in the summer of 2016. We left in June and we came back at the beginning of August. It was amazing. And we rented an Airbnb in Berkeley, California for a month. And I have a very close friend who's a longtime resident of the Berkeley Zen Center, and he teaches there also. And they've got a beautiful temple, and they've got this huge, well, not huge, but it's about this big in circumference, a prayer bell. And he was hitting it, and I sat there with my phone with I had a microphone for the phone made by Shure, and it does mid-side recording. And I captured a bunch of sounds. And then when I got home, I started working on it when I got back to the Airbnb because I have my computer, a laptop with me. And I processed the sound and pitch shifted it and did all sorts of crazy stuff. And now I've got this really cool instrument. So that's one of my sounds. This next one is a mallet tube. So it's a tube, like a plastic tube that I hit with a drum mallet. I have like a drumstick with like a felt mallet on a head on the top of it. That gives me this sort of... It's like the Blue Man Group, kind of... Is that still running? You know what that is, right? The Blue Man Group. They were in the down at Astor Place forever, and they just did stuff with all these plastic tubes. Okay, so then this is a piano pad. So this is my old piano that I sampled, and then I played around. Then I made a nice pad sound. Yeah, so I did it looks like about 15 different pitches. Yeah, I did E, G, C, E, G, B, D, F sharp, like major thirds. Every note is a major third higher, and then I just stretched it. And I just played around with the envelope. So I've got that. Then I recorded, I have a little mono synth called a Sirin, S-I-R-I-N. It's made by Moog. And I recorded a bunch of sounds from it into the computer, and I processed them. And I made these beautiful pad sound. And what's cool is that little knob, I downloaded this template. I can play around with the filter right there. And if I right click on that, I can automate that. Well, that's actually, I'd have it set up for the mod wheel. So that's pretty cool. When we were in the studio, I played Sal's piano. And so this is a program. You can actually get this at this piano book site. You can download this. Does it have a volume, master volume? It's not, I did a good job sampling it. The notes sound really good. I didn't go crazy with multiple velocity layers and, oh, it's still in Vegas, right? I would imagine that's probably true. I didn't do multiple velocity layers. I did a few, and I didn't do every pitch, but I just got something that I could use in certain circumstances and then share. This has been downloaded about 1,500 times, so people all over the world have this. So it's pretty good piano. It's doesn't have a lot of dynamics. You know, like the timbre doesn't change a lot, and that piano has a lot of dynamic richness to it. But it's useful and has a beautiful sound to it. Then this one Adrian heard in film class yesterday. These are basketballs. Could be drums, some sound design, and if we turn up I have a reverb sound, a cathedral. So that's that, and then I've got, let's just bypass boom for a second. Then I've got down here some audio sounds, and let's look at those. I've got these muted, so let me unmute this. So this was one morning on the beach in Florida. I heard this really cool bird. That needs some EQ to get rid of some of the ambient sounds, but I'd recorded that. Then on that road trip to California, we went down to Big Sur. I don't know if you know where that is. That's south of Monterey. It's about 100 miles south of San Francisco, right on the coast. If you ever see these car advertisements where they're driving a car on a coastal highway that's elevated and there's a bridge and there's huge mountains on one side and then the ocean on the other side. That's in Big Sur. It's a really famous place. They have a resort there called Nepenthe, Nepenthe. They have a restaurant there. So we stopped there and we went and got food. We took a road trip down to Big Sur because we love it. The trip down there is incredibly beautiful, and we've been there multiple times. It's really nice. They've got this room downstairs that's filled with wind chimes, and it was a breezy day. They had the windows open, so you're getting this beautiful breeze off the Pacific Ocean. There was fog, so you could see the ocean, but not completely. Anyway, this was the sound. I just did this with my phone, and this one is pretty old. I did this probably in 2008 or 9. Right, so you got to find the part of that that's really nice, which is right in that area there. So that could be something. Then this next one is really interesting. If you hold a note down on the piano, you push it down really soft so that it's silent. What happens is that the hammer is off the string and the string can vibrate without being muted by the hammer. And then you go an octave lower and you play that note really sharply. Bing. The note that you're pushing down silently will resonate sympathetically. And they call that, those are piano harmonics. Right? So let me show you what I mean by that. So if I play this note here, hear that aftertone? That's the harmonic, right? And each one is a little different. So we'll have to play around with that because it's very soft, so I'll probably have to do some volume work, you know. So if I did this just for now, and let's say I started this here. Right, so there's something there that could be interesting. Okay, so that's that. This is some sound design I did with those piano harmonics where I held a cluster of notes down silently and then banged my hand on the piano, and like a bunch of notes that were really close together started vibrating sympathetically. I did some sound design in the computer, right? On the sounds like it could be in the soundtrack for the movie Aliens. Okay, let me mute that. And then this next one is, I hit some low notes of my piano with a drumstick. Really cool, right? You get that, like, really... So we'll have to figure out what pitches those are. And then the last bit are some sounds I made in my hallway, right? So of my apartment on West 94th Street. Here's some claps. And here's some slams. I think I'm slamming the door. Right, so this is the stairwell. So I was on the 8th floor of a 16-floor building. So I have some stuff to play around with audio-wise. So I have to figure out what I want, how I want to work this, right? So I don't really have any concept. So what I want to do, I think, though, is start off with something slowish in tempo. So maybe I'll go down to 72 beats a minute. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this part of the chimes here. And then let's go up here and then let me put in Command-Shift-N. One new stereo. Oh, no, it's a mono track because it was recorded on my phone. Chimes SFX or something like that. And then I'll paste it there. Unmute it. So what I'm doing is I am just playing around with looping sort of making like a forced loop and crossfading. Let me make this bigger so it's easier for you to see. Right, so I'm crossfading. Right, and I've got that spot that I really like. Okay, and I could duplicate that. What I'm thinking is this could be a nice shimmering, ethereal effect. You know, create a mood. What I think I'm going to do, just to quickly play around with something, is I'm going to make this into elastic audio, and I'm just going to play around with a few things because I don't think this will be the best way to do this. But so if I just transpose this down an octave. Okay, I like that. Let me do that with a plugin though. And I'm only going to use the Pro Tools plugins, all right, or Air, basically what you have. So let's do the pitch 2. It's interesting. So I brought it down 2 octaves. You can almost hear a rhythm. It's a little funky down there, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm playing around with the mix, right? And then low pass filter. That's this bottom thing here. See here, now that's murmuring. It's kind of cool. I kind of like that. So let me render that whole thing. Actually, let me undo that. Let me make a duplicate playlist. We went over playlists, correct? Okay, so let me just show you. So if I go right here in this downward facing triangle, click on that, I'm going to duplicate this playlist, and I'm going to call this Chimes SFX pitch shift. Right, so now I've got, if I pitch shift this one and maybe an hour from now I don't like it, I can go back to this original playlist and find the original bit. Okay, so that beginning there, I don't like this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that. I'll do a fade in. And just turn the volume of the clip down. Now, the thing about this that I'm not crazy about is that it is it's mono, and it's not giving us, sounds like the Matrix, it's not giving me any stereo width, right? So I have a couple of options for making this more stereo. I'm going to Command-Shift-N and have a mono aux input. And I'm going to add mod delay 3, and I'm going to pan the original to the left, and I'm going to pan this one all the way to the right. And I'm going to make this one like fairly short. And then I'm going to do a send, so I'm going to do bus 9, and I'm going to call that mono delay. And then I'll set my input up. And then I'm going to send some of the track over there to the left. So now it sounds more stereo, right? And if I click pre-fader up here, I can mute the original track and so I can add a little more low pass filter, some modulation, maybe a little feedback. No feedback. And now I've got something that's very wide, right? And additionally, I've got a cathedral reverb set up here using space. I use this San Sabino Cathedral, which comes with it. And I think that sounds really terrific. I might use that myself in future things because I don't really use space as much as I should, but it's pretty good. So let me just turn this up. And put this here. All right, so I've got a really nice ethereal bit here. And let me just look at my level. I'm going to do something here for myself. I've got an external. You can't see it. Okay. I have an external box which lets me know what my level is. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit more. Okay. Right, that's my hold on a sec. That's my prayer bell. So let me play that in because I'm starting to like that already. So I don't have the click on. I'll do this free time at first and then I'll add some time. And I'm figuring out my timing because I'm listening in my headphones to the decay of the prayer bells, right? And when it gets to a certain point, I'm going to hit it again. And, you know, those are fairly... This one's a little early, but that's okay. That gives me something to work with. Okay, so now let's get started with something else. So I've got Sal's piano here, and I'm just... I've got that drenched with cathedral. Turn up the cathedral more. And then I'm going to add some delay to that. So I haven't figured out the delay yet. So I've got that here. So I'm going to do a slow delay. So maybe I'll do a dotted quarter note and a half note. So let's do a little send. Let's see. Yeah, okay, that second chord I played I liked. Okay, great. So it's going to come after the prayer bell, right? Okay, let me edit. And what I want to do is I want to get all my velocities much more even. So I'm going to just drag them all up and then down very soft. Even softer. And I did turn the volume on this up. I'll bring it down a little. Okay, so this is still too loud. So I'm going to bring this way down. The chimes, right? It's taking up too much space. In other words, and if I bring the volume down, it'll feel like it's further away. See, that fits in much better. And then I've got my soft pad here. Yeah, I'm liking that. So that comes in, it overlaps, right? So I've got waves happening of sound. So up until like about this point here, I've got the chimey stuff down low. I've got the prayer bell and the piano, and then over here that stuff stops. So what I'll do is, as that wave is going down, the next wave of the pad sound will start. So that's going to be sort of just a different way of thinking about how this stuff unfolds. So see if you can follow what I mean by that. So I'll start recording here, right? So now I'll have the tone come in, and now the piano, and that will end, and now the piano is gone, and I've got this pad sound. And see how I've set this sound up so that it changes as it unfolds over time. Okay, so then what I can do is I can do a long fade out on this. So let's see. And let me save that. Okay, I want actually that first note to start much sooner. Like right after that piano hit. There we go. So the prayer bells and piano, that wave is subsiding, and now this pad wave is starting. Possibly. Possibly. So one thing that's cool is that with this mallet tube, let me show the keyboard. I have this set up so that if I play this note here, let me zoom in on that so it's easier for you to see the keyboard. So if I play this note, whoa, sorry, I apologize. Play that softly, and then play this up here, which is this note here. It's the same pitch. And what's cool about that is I can get these rhythms going with two hands. Here, let me move this camera for now. So in other words, so instead of going like this, right, I can create these almost drum-like rhythms with that kind of a pitch. I didn't invent that. You don't know this guy's name, but his name is Steve Porcaro. He wrote the song Human Nature that Michael Jackson made a huge hit out of. And he's in the band Toto. Anyway, he's a good keyboard player. He's a very good composer. But what he's incredible at is synthesizer programming. He's unbelievable. And he talked about, I was read an article where he talked about trying to do double the guitar part with his keyboard, and he was finding that having the same, trying to play those fast rhythms on the same pitches was much more difficult than doing it on a guitar, because with a guitar you can upstroke and downstroke, right? So he simulated that by having 2 octaves up repeat the same pitches with an alternate set of sounds, so that he could do that, like his left hand could be the upstroke and his right hand could be the downstroke. And so, you know, you read these things in articles. I mean, I read that in the 1980s, and when I was programming this, it sort of came into my head. So let's just see what we have here. I think that'll work very nicely. Let's see, make sure we're at the right tempo. Okay, good. So, let's do a take. I think that'll work out really well. 2, 3, 4. I started earlier last time. I liked it better. Here we go. 3, 4. quantize that, but not completely. Just 85%. Just that I think I played it fine, but I want to rush. I don't want to practice everything. Possibly. Yeah, hold on. Let me just see something. Okay, so that's hi-hats on the boom. On the boom. Second here. Now, I've got this, right? It's okay. If I wanted to lo-fi that, right, I could do some plug-in or something, but let me just show you another technique. So this audio interface I have has a few outputs and a few inputs. Right? So I've got some of the outputs hooked up to my speakers selector, which I can plug in my headphone to, which is this box. You can't see it's over here. But if I take one of the other outputs and I run it into these two guitar pedals and then take an output of the, so I've got these chained together. So this is the first, so output from, this is output 2 going into the input of this, the output of this to the input of this, and then the output of this back into line 2, the input line 2. So out of line 2, through this chain, back into line 2. So what I can do is I can go to my send column, go to output line 2. Let me zoom in on that so it's easier for you to see. So this is my sends column, output line 2. And then the input of this guy, this audio track, is line 2. Then this is the level that I'm sending. So I'll turn it up to 0 for the time being. And then I'll make this pre-fader so that I can mute this track and just hear what's coming through here. So I've got this the record turned on, but I've got it input enabled. And I can play this, and you're going to hear the same sound. The same sound as the other one, right? Now I'm going to turn this on. No difference, right? Let me play that again. I'm going to turn the drive up. And then this has tone control, so I can take some of the top off. And then let me add the second drive. Whoops. Here we go. Now, I think I like just the single drive. Take some more of the high off. Okay, so what I can then do is I can record this, right? All right, now what you want to do is you want to make sure that it lines up. The purple one is what I recorded. And if we zoom in here, we can see that this is a little bit behind the MIDI note, right? So I'm in slip mode. I'm just going to line that up visually. That's fine, okay? All right, so now I know that that's in time, right? It was at this level. It's too loud. So I'm going to bring the clip gain down. Hold on. Just to get it at a good volume. It's got to be just... right? And then the next thing I did was I added that delay that I'd set up for Sol's piano at the beginning. And then that adds a nice groove, right? And then what I can do for automation, right, is that I can have that coming in like this. So I'm sort of mixing as I'm working, right? As I'm going along, I'm mixing, making sure my levels are all the right close, and I'm automating my effects. So as I'm working, I'm kind of doing this stuff. This is sort of how I've gotten. And anyway, so let's take it from the top and listen to this Mishigas and see if it's any good. I kind of like it. You know, it's almost like Pink Floyd or something like that. Ambient Pink Floyd. Okay, so let me just see something here. Let's get this. Come on. So what I can do with the delay is I can make that wave also, you know what I mean? So that the delay gets really hot and then it comes down. So let's take a listen to that in isolation. The echoes get softer. And they come up again. That's kind of a cool effect. And then we can duplicate that. So let's listen to that with the mallet tube. So we've got this really cool let's actually double this. Interesting. That's my piano harmonics. I think I'll do is I'll fade that in a little bit more. And I'll make that even wetter by sending that to our cathedral. I think what I might do with that is I might put our EQ1 and put a high pass filter in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate the frequency. Yes, I probably don't need the fade in anymore because I'm just chopping off so much of the low end. Nice. I think I'm going to do that with the with boom. So let's play that in. I'm playing it on the keyboard. Okay, let me. And I like to just with my percussion instruments, I like to set them all to the same length. The sound, whether you play it long or short, yeah, you could play you go down a couple of octaves and you could play all the individual instruments. So what I'm going to do now is a new mono audio track. So boom, kick, snare, FX, right? And then that'll be interface mic line 2. And let me do this pre-fader. Oh, wait, that says cathedral. Let's do that. So, whoops. So I'm going to play this. So that's our sound, right? So I'm going to play that and turn this on. And now I've got the drive set off and the level just set a little bit up. And I don't have this one turned on yet. So let's play this, turn this on. There we go. Interesting. I really like that. Layer the two together. That'd be kind of cool. So let me record that. The affected one is way too loud. All right, great. So let's bring the volume on this way down, and let's also get it lined up correctly. So there's a little latency, right? Let's just pop that in there. Oh, hold on. I got the record enable on. So you have both of them mixed in together. And what you can also do is fade in the effect, right? All right, just checking. Starting to sound like the X-Files. Okay, so what I think I want to do is automate the delay on the piano. So I'm going to go down here to delay level. And I'm going to bring it down considerably. And I'm going to do the same thing with the cathedral, right? It's too wet and it's not distinct enough. Whoops. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I just improvised a little piano rhythm in there. And what I did that I like is that I didn't start on the beat. I started after the beat. If the beat is here, my first note is right there. So it's not getting off the tyranny of the downbeat. All right, so now I think I need another sound, so I'm going to go to expand 2, and I'm going to get up a vocal sound, and I want to do a female ooh pad. Okay, I don't like that it does that bit. Female ooh wide. Cool. Let's get some release. Okay, so that's MIDI CC7. Okay, so we're going to automate the cutoff, but let's get the part played in first, all right? Okay, so, you know, I'm just jamming into the box, you know, coming up with stuff. Whoops, I didn't name it. So choir, let me fix that now. And let's get that named correctly. And let's get that colored. Okay, so let's open up our editor here. And I want to get all of my notes in, you know, I want to control the dynamics. So I want to get... Now, there's two ways I can go about this. I do kind of like having a little bit of a sharp attack. Like this doesn't have a sharp attack, but it's not a slow fade in, right? So I'm gonna automate that, and I'm not sure that MIDI volume is gonna work with this because of it's multiple. Let's just see what happens if I do this. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Try expression. Okay, so MIDI expression works. So I've got this little guy here, right? And this is set up for MIDI expression, this knob here, the slider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on MIDI merge, right? This way I can overdub that. Go back a little bit. And let me just get a good... Okay, so that's a good spot right there. I'm just finding a spot. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to record and just move this a little bit so that it records that this is the starting spot. Do you understand what I mean by that? So if I just play it all of a sudden, from here, it's going to jump down really quickly and not be the kind of smooth fade in I want. So if I just wiggle this a little bit, it will record that that's the starting spot. So I'm going to play it. Well, I'm going to record it, I mean, and just wiggle that just a little bit, and then... Great. And then 7. Let me go here. Yeah, MIDI C set volume is the cutoff frequency. That's really weird. All right, so I'm going to, I've got this set up for MIDI CC7. And if we go here, up here, and we right click on this, it says, forget, this is our automation. Forget MIDI CC7. Well, that means that CC7 is programmed to move this knob. And if you want to forget it because you want to assign it to another controller, that's fine. But I've got that set up for MIDI CC7, which is typically volume, MIDI volume. But this is fine. This will be fine. So I'm going to automate my cutoff frequency. So again, I want it to get brighter as it gets louder. So I'm going to start off in this area here, and I'm going to start recording, and I'm just going to move this guy just a little bit so that it records that's my starting spot, right? Here we go. And then if I go from here, we can see that the cutoff will move. And it brings in those upper overtones. Right? So that's pretty cool. Okay. Boom is a little dry, so let's add a little plate to that. And then let's go and so again, we'll add expand, and we'll just get, I'd like to get some low strings in there. I could use one of the synths, but I forget which ones that I had you guys download. So drama strings, what does that sound like? Yeah, okay, great. We don't need to have tremolos. That's fine. So that's MIDI CC7 for the filter again. See, that's too bright. I want it to be darker, so I'm playing around with the filter to get the sound the way I want it. And we do want to have some splash on that, so let's throw it through our cathedral. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Cool. Let me now automate some dynamics. So I'm going to do 11 right here and get some nice dynamics in there. Volume. Again, wiggling before I come in. And then now let me do the same thing with the filter. So you see, just doing that automation stuff makes it sound so much more alive, because you're not just changing the volume, you're also adding harmonics because you're moving the filter around, and it sounds much more alive. And I do that as I work, you know, because it's sounding good. It saves me time later. Couple of basketballs, never killed anybody. Unless they're played crappily. Okay, so there's a couple. So I only need 2 of those. Let me figure out which ones I need. Okay, so let me think about this for a second. Right, so I've got an instrument up here by the piano, and I've got an idea for the piano. So what I'm going to do is put in expand 2, and I'm going to call up an electric piano. Just, let's see. Basic suitcase. It has a tremolo, right? Great. So, and let's put some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to option drag it and rename it. Oh, this should be Rhodes. EP, I'll call it, for electric piano. And then just consolidate that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some notes, right? So this is the electric piano. So what if I got rid of all these low notes here? Right, so it's only just hitting the melody notes of the piano. It's too loud, but you get the idea. It's pretty cool. So let's get rid of more of them. I don't know why I'm opening up this MIDI editor. Oh well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all these, just like that, and use my. And just make these soft. No piano. Piano's back in. So it's just adding this nice little sheen and shimmer to the sound, right? I don't know if you could tell that, but it really it's cool. You know, when I was Claudia, you didn't take film scoring, which is fine. But one thing I was talking about in class yesterday is like the importance of orchestration in helping you tell your story, you know, and it's little detailed things like this that you might not hear in the full mix, but it definitely adds something. Right, it's not playing the whole thing. Muted, back in. Okay, I think I want the strings to dovetail. Right, again with the concept of waves overlapping. So let me just fix this so that it comes in a little bit. Yeah. So now I think I can make that distorted kick and snare a little bit louder. Well, not that loud. This can fade out. So now let's do this. I'm going to do Command Shift N, one new stereo, and call this and then I'm going to just listen to my piano harmonics. I'm just going to pick out a few and paste them. One there. So let me just duplicate this actually. 2 duplicates, and I don't want the playlist. I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so what I've got here are 3 harmonics playing like a chord. Right? Well, they're very soft. So let me make the let me bring the volume on them up. Clip gain, and let me fade in so that there's not, and let me pan them. So I'll pan one to the left and one to the right and leave one in the middle. That's kind of cool. Now, what I'm going to do in order to control the overall volume of these is make them all the same color first so that I know what I'm dealing with. And then I will have those going out of a Command Shift N, a stereo. Oh, actually, what I can do is I could put a routing folder, a stereo routing folder, right? You have those in your versions of Pro Tools. So a routing folder, and I'll call this Piano Harmonics. And then I will just drag all these into there. And we'll make sure everything's colored the same. And then the output of these 3 has to go through the piano harmonics. And then now I can these all still need to be much louder. They're way soft. And we'll put them through the delay. And then put them through the cathedral. Oops. So I've got my bird in a tree right here. Let's see if we can add that in. There's our bird in the tree. And let's filter out all that low end. Get rid of all the garbaggio. Just making it softer because it's way too loud. Let's put a little bit of cathedral, not a lot. Interesting. Let's just okay. So I just, you know, I have to find the spot that'll fit and make it work. So I'm going to use that piano pad. That's interesting, the way it sounds there. Just to give a little, just a little bit of activity. Okay, and then got this electric piano. Let's see if we can do something else with that same sound. Okay, that last note there I got to fix. So here, that's way too loud. So what I'm going to do is, so that's MIDI CC73 for the attack, right? I want the attack to be slower there. So I'm going to open up the MIDI editor, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to add 73. Just like that, add it in. Okay. And then right here, I'm going to soften that attack. I hope. Nope, not enough. Did I do MIDI CC73? Is that what I did? Hold on. Oh. That was expression. Whoops, 73. Here we go. Ugh. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's better. So if I solo this. Oh, up here? See how that now fades in? Right, and let's make that a little bit louder. See how that's different than... Oh, I have to go back. Hold on a second. Right, that's the way the sound is there. And then over here, it fades in really nicely. Okay. So, it sounded like that bird was shot. Okay, so, you know, this is, I don't have, what I would say to you is that the more you know about the software, the more you know about what possibilities are, so that you don't have to think about it. You can, something comes into your mind and you know how to get it. Right? And I'm not talking right now like, you know, there's all sorts of musical stuff that I know, but I'm talking about, I want to do this to that sound. I wanted that electric piano to fade in. I could have done that with volume, but I liked playing around with the attack, right? I knew how to do that. I did that. It took me like a minute, right? All that kind of stuff, right? Just the more that you know about production, the more it can enhance your compositions, you know? Yeah. So this is the last class for the semester, because next Wednesday is the last day of classes. But if you haven't handed in something today, just get me something. I'm going to look at it on Saturday. And then if you want to hand me in something next week on Thursday, I can look at it, and then it's due the following week. So I'd like to give you as much feedback as I can to just get you through this, because it was sort of nebulous what I had assigned. I just want to see what you come up with. So just do, you know, you guys have been doing great work this semester. So, you know, I was really impressed by the mixes I just listened to today from your last assignment. They were just really clear. And when I think about, you know, where you started from to where you got now, it's really, it's a good deal. You know, I had comments to say about everything, but like minor comments.